Happy New Year, Virgo, and welcome to your January 2026 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see everybody. I know you guys like to check in on Apollo. He's sleeping behind us, so let's let him be. We have a lot to cover, and I always like to begin with channeled messages. Today, as I was meditating on your sign, I kept seeing this thin string, kind of like a tightrope, and that's what I want to talk about first. When I think about someone that is like a tightrope walker, it's someone who really has to keep their balance, stay focused, and it usually represents sort of like this point where you can't push things too much. So some of you may be kind of stretched thin this month, almost like the Two of Pentacles. It feels less like it's money, it's more like it's time, energy, and attention. So one thing that's going to be really important is discernment, boundaries, knowing your own limits and enforcing those. Because a lot of times there are people around us that will simply take and take and take until you say no. Or you may simply want to please people and you keep getting involved in activities or events, or maybe you're just doing too much. And so it feels like there was a lot of tension in that string of energy that I was tuning into, and it just needed a little bit of a release. The other thing is it can almost be like the final string, or the what is it, that phrase? It's the straw that breaks the camel's back, that kind of thing. So some of you may also have had your fill of something. And again, we're getting to a consistent theme of knowing when to say when. I feel like there's an overarching energy of achievement, movement, opportunity. And because of that, there also needs to be an understanding of when enough is enough. So I can't wait to look at the cards here. We're going to shuffle everything. Also, take a look at an extended forecast that includes 4 quarters as well. So I'm going to take the extended forecast of health, wealth, love, and destiny, kind of trim that a bit so that we can also look at the 4 quarters of the year, grouping it into basically months of 3 at a time. So stick around. We got a lot to cover. It's good to see you, Virgo. Before we get started, let's give Apollo a little pat on the head. Hey, buddy. Who's a good boy? I know. Thank you. Yes. All right, now we can officially begin. Take a moment, if you will, close your eyes, allow for your thoughts to simply be clear. And if there's anything that you've been holding as far as, stress, etc., just let it go on the next inhale and exhale. Imagine that you are standing in a circle of light, and within that circle, you can invite in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Let's begin. All right, let's get started with your catalyst. This is a really powerful symbol to come through in the position of the catalyst. Just to remind you, a catalyst helps you make the necessary change in your life. Let's talk about what this shark represents and how that might kind of affect the month ahead. The first thing that comes through is the fact that many species, not all, but many species of sharks need to continue to move so that they can breathe. And so there's an almost a restless energy to this. Think of like 4 of Swords, but in the reverse position. Make sure that you're getting enough time to recalibrate, to recover, to rest, and know that that is just as important. We're not built like the shark is. And so when I see this, that kind of shows one area of vulnerability or opportunity. The shark is also an apex predator. That means that it can get what it's trying to sort of hunt down in its, at least when it comes to something to eat. In your life, an apex predator coming through as a totem represents the ability to achieve a goal. to put your target on something that really matters, focus on it, and accomplish that, or bring that closer to your life. So don't give up. This is also tantamount to the King of Cups, since it's an apex predator at the top of its food chain. So with King of Cups energy, as a catalyst, that really aligns to the kind of focus of what it is. So this is about sensitivity, creativity, empathy, and the ability to lead with a big heart, with an open heart. And although it's not kind of like what we see in this illustration, we can kind of overprint that King of Cups energy and say this can help you in leadership, in relationships, and in life in general. Are you having some fun? The shark reminds you that it can't be all work and no play, no rest. There has to be balance. Create that balance and you'll thrive. All right, let's take a look at the spread in front of us. Things are going to kick off in a really sort of rapid motion here. We have the Knight of Swords, one of the fastest moving cards, front and center. Overall, I quite like what I see here. And so I do think it is a matter of managing stress, momentum, and opportunity. So it does align with the channeled message. This is a fascinating take on the Knight of Swords because where's the knight? All we see here are like personal effects or accoutrements, but there's actually no knight present. So one thing that this is aligning to is, again, being on the go, maybe not being able to make all your appointments or be everywhere that you need or want to be, thus that string that I saw being stretched too thin. So make sure that if you make a promise, you can keep it. And if you feel like you're getting overextended, that you slow down. Let's look at the traditional version of the card, or a version of it here. I love this interpretation. We see the knight charging forth. You can almost feel like he's flying through the air. So one thing that you might want to do as you're looking at what's left of January is to really focus on making sure that you're giving yourself ample time to rest, that you're also making sure that you're not putting one thing against another, kind of like when traveling, but not just like travel itinerary, but your sort of goals and responsibilities for the month ahead. Make sure that there is some time to rest, to recalibrate, to just be present, because if you're constantly in this fluid motion and momentum, then sometimes you miss things along the way. And it could be the celebration of like success, right? Or the people that are around you. Make sure that you're making time for those things too. This also represents communication. And as your central card, it's saying that your ability to communicate and then inspire action is possibly one of the best traits that you have or attributes that you have this month. Even if you don't feel like you're a natural communicator, just the way in which you present something, it could really be what is necessary to inspire or kind of like kindle that flame in other people as well. Word travels quickly, so make sure also that you're weighing your words before you speak, just to make sure that something doesn't get out before it's time. If there are any things like a non-disclosure agreement that you've signed or something that's sensitive, make sure that you check the audience and that you're saying things at the right time to the right group of people. But by and large, as your central card, I love it. It's telling me that the month is going to fly by like this. Things are going to take flight and really take flight. And also that if there's anything that's already happening, that momentum can carry you to the finish line. So embrace that and be mindful of the being present and slowing down as needed. So crossing the center card, we have the beautiful moon coming through. And what Spirit is conveying as I'm looking at this clairvoyant message basically is be gentle. Be gentle, kind, and forgiving with yourself, first and foremost. Oftentimes, we are our own worst enemies when it comes to making a mistake, being perfect, holding ourselves up to these unrealistic expectations. So the moon is just saying, easy does it. There's also that same compassion that you can then convey, express, and sort of put out into the world around you. So be kind and gentle to yourself, be kind and gentle to others. Don't view with too much of a harsh lens, including sort of judgment and preconceived notions. Be kind, be forgiving. The moon card also comes through when we have to face our fears. And the 1-2 combination of this card, which is trying to rush or move faster, and this card, which is emotions, it's saying like, don't rush through the emotions. Allow yourself time to process them, because the speed with which the Knight of Swords sometimes moves forward is too quickly. Take time, process, Get clear on what it is that you want and don't want, and that's going to help you invariably in the future. Finally, this is about accountability. Make sure that you're accountable for your own actions. Like I said, don't overcommit. And if other people are doing something that lacks integrity or isn't true, you want to also highlight that and make sure that you solve it before it gets, bigger or moves into something beyond your sort of reach or control. Appropriately enough, as we move on from that crossing card, which is the moon, we go into the deep past and we have a beautiful interpretation of the sun coming through. The sun card is in the reverse position. And in order to understand this, I want to move to a more traditional illustration for a moment. So a couple of things are worth noting. We have a little baby on this card, first and foremost. The baby is representative of inner child energy. That string that I was seeing in my meditation could be the umbilical cord, the solar plexus energy for confidence, for power that you are reclaiming from those around you that may make you feel like the child that's on this card. I'd like to highlight that it doesn't have to be from friends, family, or people that are close to you. It could be also from like authority figures, people just out and about in the world that try to condescend. And with this card in reverse, you're pushing that back and you're saying, no, I'm not that little child. We're on an even level. So if it isn't related to the inner child or familial issues, it's about standing up to someone and saying, it could be like even establishing power. Let's say you're stepping into a situation where you're a leader. You're coming through and checking this test where people might be seeing if you're as strong as you think you are. If there are any sort of familial issues from parents or authority figures in your life, this is a moment where you can cut that umbilical cord and basically say, I'm ready now to live my life for myself. The reversed baby here can also be something it's time to release it. It's like birth, right? So this is a moment where if you've been holding on to something, the universe is coming through and saying, if not now, then when? This is your chance to shine. That's what a star does. And the sun is just the name that we give to our star. So this is your moment for rebirth, reinvention, getting out there, reclamation of power, really strong and powerful energy coming forth. And this is highly charismatic. So you may not even understand this sort of glow that you have, this ability to pull things into your life. Now, this card almost exclusively focuses on the sunflowers, which are present in the traditional card. They're just behind the baby, right? So are you leading or are you following? That's what the sunflower asks. It's a heliotropic symbol, and it basically follows the path of the sun across the sky until it finally goes into the phase where it's just seeds. But with this, it's basically saying, if you're ready to lead, others are ready to follow. And don't ever underestimate your ability to make a splash, to be a great leader, or to inspire other people in your life. You've got that star power, you've got that sun power coming through. So far, everything's been very good. I think we have our first challenging card right here in the form of the Nine of Swords. Because it's in the position of the past, recent past, this is probably a holdover from the previous year. Nine of Swords, it can represent stress, fatigue, and also maybe even an environment around you where something needs to change. The interesting thing here, if we pull all of these cards together, the Knight of Swords is about communication. The moon can be about communicating a difficult point to someone. Let's say someone isn't doing what they are supposed to be doing, and you need to stand up for yourself or someone else. The Sun card is reclaiming power or protecting someone like a child or someone in your life that may not have the same sort of strength or communication skills that you do, and you're like, you know what, this has to stop. So sometimes when these things happen, we're a little bit nervous because we're using our voice. Ultimately, this is about speaking up, speaking out, and doing the right thing. It's also about making sure that you're not extinguishing your energy by working way too many hours. Having boundaries so that that doesn't happen, of course. And then having any sort of outlet in your life, creative outlet, speaking to a friend, therapist, or a mentor, some way getting the stress, the energy out of your body and getting some perspective. I think that could be the biggest gift that you could give yourself in the new year, and it's going to allow you to move with a sense of grace and ease through January. Crowning position here, we have the Strength card. It's in the reverse position. Sometimes this can represent someone in your life, a parent or a boss, that's trying to take that. Now I'm seeing the string almost like a tug of war. They're trying to see if you're ready to stand up for yourself. I love this version because instead of the traditional card where we see someone trying to control the lion, here we see this beautiful synergy between the two of them. It's more of an aspirational card because it's reversed, but I believe that with the right approach, the right words, the right timing, you might be able to land that beautiful harmony that we see here. That being said, as we look at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, sometimes you just have to go for it. And when you do decide to stand up for yourself, have a difficult conversation, step into your power, the Strength card shows that you can do this. It's just saying there are some diminishing returns in the long run. Pick and choose your time, pick and choose your battles. You don't have to do it for everything or everyone, but sometimes there's something that comes across your life and you're like, you know what? I do want to fight for this. So just know that there's going to be a trade-off. Prepare yourself for that confrontation and then prepare yourself for the self-care that you might need afterwards. You might also lean on the support of someone in your life that represents this strength energy. Maybe it's a lawyer, maybe it's a friend or a mentor. Speaking of lawyers, that energy comes through here also with King of Swords energy. This also consistently goes into this theme of speaking up. Speaking up if something doesn't feel right. Speaking up if something does. The early bird gets the worm here, and it's so important for you to say what you feel, say what you want, articulate it in real time. Don't wait for all of those things to add up into the Nine of Swords, because that can be, just biting your tongue and not saying anything for a long time. And then you're one step away from 10 of Swords. So speak up, speak out often, and do so in a way that is concise and constructive. That's the big takeaway with this. Also, it's a call to action. If there's anything that you've been procrastinating on, typically King of Swords is ready to take it head on, but the reversal of this is saying there might have been some delays, some even internal dialogue where you're thinking, I'm not ready, I'm not this enough, that enough, and you're starting to basically be self-deprecating for yourself. Don't. This is a time to trust in yourself, to take action, to be bold, and yes, be brief with it as well. The King of Swords doesn't waste time and doesn't waste words either. Let's take a look at how you're showing up this month. Ace of Wands, ultimately one of the best cards you can get because it represents a new idea, passion. It also shows that there could be an opportunity that's knocking. The reversal of this is saying the first thing you have to focus on, though, is your own vitality and energy. And for all of the reasons we talked about, maybe working yourself to the point of exhaustion, as we saw here with the Nine of Swords, or perhaps having to speak up or speak out because someone isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. These things can fatigue you and kind of take away some of the energy. So give yourself ample time to recharge, and the reward once that happens is new ideas coming through. This is also the universe saying, okay, great, you have an idea. What's the plan? So if you're not lacking vitality, there just might be an action plan that needs to be addressed. So decide how you're going to breathe life into your vision, because all we need is a spark and then we have a torch here, right? So what are you going to do to create that spark? What are you going to do to fight for what matters when it comes to your creative vision, to your hopes and dreams, and etc.? It feels like you already have a tidbit of an iota of what it is that you want. It's just about how do I make this happen, okay? If there is something presented to you and it doesn't inspire, that's okay. It's good to know what you don't want. The key thing here is to make sure that you say no if it doesn't feel right, or you make the changes necessary in order for it to be satisfactory. Because it feels like you're close, but there might need to be a negotiation or a conversation saying, not this, but this. And you're pretty close to getting where you want and what you want, but communication, time and again, because we have both the Knight and the King right by each other here of Swords, it's important to speak up, to speak out, and to let people know what you need, how you feel, and why you feel that way. In the environment, I didn't even recognize it here because I'm working with a slightly reimagined deck here, but we have the King of Cups, which I mentioned when I saw the Shark card, could be part of this month. This is the environment. There could be someone in your life, a creative visionary, that's coming into the environment to help you out. This could also be your creative vision that pulls in people. Love, of course, can be connected to this. There might be a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces coming forth, especially since we had the Moon card. So I get good vibes from this. This is a good connection. Open yourself up. Keep an open heart, an open mind, and it does feel like you're going to get to the point where your ideas and especially your creativity starts to flow. All right, let's move on to hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have Four of Wands in reverse. This is a chance for you to take an existing relationship and go a little bit deeper. There might be a little bit of hesitation here. Fear of commitment, dare I say, because in the upright position, this card is typically connected with partnerships. In fact, if we look at the traditional card, you can see someone's getting ready for marriage or commitment. It doesn't always have to do with love. This can be business partnerships, new friendships, new alliances. And with this space being open, sometimes we worry. It's like, where's the person gone? I don't see them yet. Why haven't they shown up? Hold space. Don't rush. It takes time, especially when you are discerning for that right person to come through. Right beneath it, we have the King of Cups. So you might be looking for your creative partner or your love interest. Like, don't give up the hope or the faith that you're creating the version of you also that they're looking for. And that's really where the magic is when it comes to commitment cards or love energy in a reading. It's a mirror of what you need to focus on. And we've talked a little bit about that today. When I get into relationships, we'll go deeper. This can also just be a reminder when it comes to something new. Let's say you have started a new job or you're in a new relationship. Don't rush. This is something that takes time to build, particularly when it comes to trust, appreciation, and respect. So easy does it. And enjoy the process of getting to know someone. Ultimately, this portends good things. That phrase, when you know, this is something you would know from almost the first meeting, the first handshake. There's this feeling that this is what I've been looking for. So don't give up hope. It's within reach. If not this month, then soon. The main thing here is, as we see with the Hanged Man, to pause for a moment and make sure that you're seeing the big picture. This is the Hanged Man in reverse, but ultimately the Hanged Man is saying, don't rush, wait. Look and make sure that everything that you're working on is done. Look at yourself, make sure you're the kind of person, whatever it is that you're putting out into the universe, this is something that you would be happy with, your image, your product, your service, whatever. And until then, think of it as like baking. If you try to pull something out of the oven and it isn't fully baked, if it's a cake, it can collapse. If it's a cookie, you could get sick. You've got to make sure that things have time to solidify, the Four of Wands energy that we just talked about. So don't rush. You're exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't feel like it at this moment in time. Let's now expand the forecast. We're going to start off with health, and health is your mind, body, and spirit. So the card that came through is this beautiful phoenix, which represents, as we can see here, transmutation. But the card was reversed, and sometimes this is the illusion that when something ends, or when we're rejected, or something fizzles, that's it. The reality is, it's just the beginning. This card, the Phoenix, is very much connected to judgment in tarot. So I chose this version from the Lightseers deck because they just have really similar imagery. So judgment is a moment where we have a wake-up call. So it doesn't always involve death or rebirth. Sometimes it's just a moment for us to wake up and say, this isn't what I want. So I get to reinvent myself. And in this moment in time, particularly when it comes to what's healthy, what makes you happy, what makes you feel a sense of fulfillment in your life, you get to exercise what? Your own judgment. You get to decide, and you get to rise up and change something. Transmutation is also very much taking the existing materials or situation and saying, I'm going to change this for the better, and I'm going to exit this healthier, stronger, smarter than I was when I came into it. So that's the vibe that I get here. It could be a wake-up call. Maybe someone around you didn't do well when it came to their health. They burned themselves out. They had bad habits. Maybe there's even family markers in your own sort of, immediate family where you're like, I don't want to repeat that. I know what that can lead to. So you choose to do better. And I think that's the first message coming through for health. So let's just generally look at everything here. The shark can represent dental work. It might be time to go to the dentist if you haven't been in a long time. This and this, the Strength card and Nine of Swords reverse can represent fatigue, as can the Ace of Wands. So I feel like there is stress, maybe some physical pain or tiredness, and then there's this also mental or energetic fatigue, and it's important for you to take care of yourself. That's why this is slowing down the Hanged Man, and it's countering this need to kind of go, go, go. So pace yourself, speak up when something doesn't feel right, deal with stress in a way that is manageable, get ample sleep, and hydration. I mean, it's pretty much all here in front of us. Thankfully, we don't have a Tower, Devil, or Ten of Swords with respect to this. And in fact, we have a very, very auspicious card saying you can make a change for the better. And that's the big takeaway here, okay? Let's move on to the next component here that we like to look at in the expanded forecast and look at wealth, which is your resources, life purpose, and career. So easy does it. This card literally says soft. So it's being gentle with yourself. Do you remember what I said with the moon? Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. And I would also say that anything that you want to do with respect to change or movement, it takes time, and it's a lot more manageable if you don't go like 180 miles per hour. And sometimes this is what happens when the new year turns. So it's very good that I'm doing this right here at the beginning of the new year. Slow, sustainable changes are easier than something that is, too far, too fast, etc. There may also just be this need for you to stick up for yourself. So the reversal of soft is to be firm, to speak up, and this has to do with what we're seeing here. If somebody's doing something that they shouldn't, or if someone's trying to check or question your power or decision-making skills. So for this, we're going to very briefly move through the different categories. I'm only going to look at one or two cards because, like I said, we have to look at the larger forecast here at the end. So if you are currently employed, I think the biggest challenge is how much stress you're putting on yourself. Also, maybe looking at if there's someone in your kind of like immediate circle, it could be a coworker, it could be your boss, where they're just not doing their fair share. This is where you check that and say, hey, we had talked about this, it's not happening. Was there a miscommunication? Was there a misunderstanding? Or you can say, I have all that I can do here. In order for me to finish some of this, I'm going to need some help. So you're going to speak up, try to delegate, and if you need to ask for help and hop over this person, you might have to do that and ask for some assistance. What we're seeing right now is sometimes people that are critical without being constructive, who are testing your sort of like how much you're going to take, and that's why it's important to stand up for yourself, okay? Those are the big takeaways here. Otherwise, pretty good. Your people skills are great. Your creativity is really strong. It's boundaries and communication that matter. Entrepreneurs, you are at a point now where I don't feel like you can put much more on your own plate. It might be necessary, at least for the short term, to bring in a partner. And that's what we see here. The King of Swords is more communication. It may not be where you feel, even though we need to see this from you, maybe you're going to hire a writer or someone that has a little bit more experience with social media or marketing and bring them in. You might also be bringing in a little bit of creative vision. This is going to serve you well. Slow down. Don't make any major changes overnight. Make sure that you vet this out, test it, and feel comfortable. Only launch it if it feels right. So I'm all for bringing in help, but don't get convinced to do something that's counter to your vision. You just want to amplify it and polish it a bit. And there's a slight, that's an important piece. It's not even something subtle. Okay. Moving on to job seekers. Can you find work? Yes. Your network is where you're going to look at some of this here. It might be a slow start here with the Hanged Man, but what I feel is going to put you head and shoulders above everyone else is flair, pizzazz, like your charisma. You could take the same general job skills and resume and then compare two people, and the one that is more creative, enthusiastic, and passionate is going to win. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I know sometimes we have no choice but to take something in front of us, but this is saying historically you might have gotten into things where it wasn't your passion. Work your passion and you will be unstoppable, okay? Moving on to those that are students. Students right now, emotions are running high. You're actually positioned to do great things, but the important thing right now is to take things off your plate. There are diminishing returns if you are not getting enough sleep. It feels like there might be an opportunity also to change your advisor. You don't have to change your major. Maybe just change your advisor or transfer to a different class. It's amazing what a different teacher can do. So you could take the same class, but from a different teacher, or if you're not getting the support you need in your department, you could just ask for a different advisor and have a much better experience overall. So a very small change could have a really positive outcome. This is a great semester for making new friends. And I feel like the main message here is don't rush. There's this energy of go, 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 but this card is countering it and saying make sure that you're taking a moment or two to enjoy relationships, student life, and really take some time to work on your communication skills. It doesn't matter what your major is, adding a little bit of language skills, whether it's spoken, written, I don't care, but like a little bit of communication skill here could really go the distance, especially when you get out into the working world. All right, moving now on to retirees. It's all about relationships. So this could be giving back to the community. This could be focusing on meeting peers or people in the same stage of life as you. Even if you're not looking for work because you're retired, what I see is a chance to mentor, to teach, to help others. Public speaking opportunities if you're interested in doing that, okay? Let's move on from wealth to love. In the energy of love, we have Lord Shiva, and the card was reversed, but it says transcendence. Hello. We have common themes here, transmutation and transcendence. I feel like we're just getting different fonts of the same sort of general message. The caption on this says, rise up, honor your inner force. Steps are being given, dance with the universe. So in relationships, you're either leveling up, moving up, or you're moving on. So the big question, particularly for those that are already in a relationship, is are you on the same page and the same path? We're going to break this down into 3 categories. If you're currently with somebody, what I like about it is that we do have communication here. With these 2 communication cards, anything is possible. Here's the problem. The Knight speaks fast and doesn't listen. The King of Swords here sometimes just says what's on their mind, but doesn't pick the right time or moment. So slow down and listen, and then ask if the time is right. That can help you quite a bit. We also have different needs. So the Strength card in reverse, someone's tired of trying to get the other person to do what they're supposed to do. Someone here is just very used to receiving. We need to find that sort of middle ground where, maybe this person asks proactively, hey, do you want this or did you like this? To get the feedback that they need so this person doesn't have to feel like they deliver it all the time. And the Shark can be the 10 of Swords, an argument. So we want to avoid that by de-escalating stress, by asking for feedback, for listening, for giving people time and space to show up, and by not having those harsh judgments like we said. Ultimately, I love that we have 4 of Wands here. I feel like as long as you take your time, you're going to be okay. The only thing lacking could be intimacy. Intimacy is not just sex. It can be time spent together, things that you share like common interests and things of that nature. It's time to build more of that into the equation. If you're single and looking, can you find something amazing right now? Yes, I do feel you can, but an interesting sort of thing. I get like friend zone energy with this. So King of Cups, passionate. This is in the environment, but are you feeling it? It's connected to it, and a reversed Ace of Wands is a friend zone. The 4 of Wands in reverse may be someone that doesn't, or it could be someone that wants to jump immediately into commitment and you're not ready, or vice versa. The water sign's a mismatch. I think don't rush into that. Most of the court cards are reversed. Not that one, but there's something, it's more like a friend or an ally. What I get here with King of Swords reversed and Strength reversed is it depends on what you're looking for. So the King of Swords in reverse would shoot from the hip and really speak honestly. Whether you want to hear it or not, they'll tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, but you always know where you stand. They're almost always telling the truth. They just sometimes speak a little too bluntly. Strength card in reverse, they're the boss. So if you are okay with having someone in the driver's seat, if that's what you're seeking, the Strength card in reverse is particularly that. But I saw that string, and I feel like sometimes even when you want someone to boss you around, you still want someone to take your needs into consideration. So I feel like this is a staying period. I will tell you if I see love, but what I'm really seeing with that King of Cups is friendship. And who knows what could come from that. So sometimes you meet your best friends or your best loves as mutual friends. So I feel like this King of Cups energy could be 1 or 2 steps away from what you're looking for. So don't rush, all right? If you're single and happy, good for you. You can focus still on networking. You may be able to find a great partnership, friendship, or alliance like I just talked about. It does feel like there's some inner child healing and some confidence building. This is true of everybody, but when you're single and happy, you can really work on strengthening the solar plexus and being the best version of yourself. Ultimately, remember to ask yourself as you're looking at people in your life, are we on the same path? Does this person help me level up, or are they kind of pulling me into a, sort of backwards position, which is not really what you're looking for? Okay, let's go to Destiny. Destiny, we have denial coming through. It's saying, I acknowledge that I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. So this is why we have the stillness of the Hanged Man. It's really important in this period of time to slow down, get to know yourself, get to know others, and what you see is what you can't deny what you're seeing then, because you're not rushing and missing all of the cues, all of the signs and symbols that are coming forth. The fear piece is also connected to the moon. Don't be afraid of doing something that you want to do or that you need to do. The awareness piece is really that you already know it, because the moon is also intuition, instinct more specifically, but in your bones, you know what the right thing is that you need to do, but you just need to accept it. And once you do that, magical things can come forth. Okay, let's get into the next portion here. We're going to take a look now at a quarterly forecast. This is something unique to January's readings. I'm going to pull 1 card for each of the 4 quarters. Don't worry, I'll remind you which months are in those 4 quarters, but let me go ahead and pull them now. First quarter, second, third, and fourth. Okay, we're going to start off with the first 3 months of the year, Q1. We have Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So Queen of Pentacles energy ultimately is amazing because she is second only to the Empress when it comes to creation, development, money. Also the ability to kind of have like a green thumb. Anything that you touch has the ability to expand. But when it's reversed, January, February, and March could be a time where people are asking for or taking more of your resources than you may want or may need them to take. Also, I love that she's being shown here as an elder. Sometimes people don't recognize your wisdom, and ageism works across the spectrum. When you're young, they think, well, you're too young to know this or understand this, and that's not always true. When you're old, they think, well, you're wise, you don't need any help. That's not true. We can all use advice at different points. Why don't we just tune into the person that's in front of us, and if they have wisdom, embrace it. And if people around you can't see your wisdom because of age, push back and say, wait a second, I deserve just as much a chance to be seen and heard as you because of this, this, and this, and lay it all out. Use the facts. Get comfortable with and get more on track of your money, your schedule, and your resources, because that stretching energy is also connected to like 2 of Pentacles. And because we have the Queen of Pentacles coming through, she's saying, let's get on top of that. Let's solve that. Let's create abundance. And this is what you're going to be focusing on, is your wealth, your personal development, and your ability to have more than enough when it comes to time, energy, and money. And that's Q1. For Q2, April, May, and June, we have 10 of Pentacles in reverse. This portends amazing things when it comes to your money. This is great for graduating, completing, or expanding from a path, a vision, a project. This can also be marriage or really great energy around partnership and business. So this is a great period for expansion. You get to pick and choose what you want to focus on. I named like a myriad of different things you could put the energy into. But as we look at this one, I think that for some of you, it's really focusing on building a relationship that can go the distance. It pairs up with the 4 of Wands. I mentioned it could be business or friendship. These are the most important relationships in our life, because when you think about, the ones that really last, the test of time. It's your friends, it's your former coworkers. They last after exes have broken up with you, after family members are gone. You spend more time sometimes with these people than others. Even neighbors can kind of cross into this territory. So for some of you, you're really just focusing on the richness of the relationship, because richness, being rich, it's not just money. It's the foundations we build in these chosen family members of our lives. So whether you're looking at building a business, building a deeper foundation in money, or just finishing something, this is the quarter here, April, May, and June, for expansion, for delivery, for that really great energy that we just talked about. All right, Q3. The Hierophant, it's a builder. It's a structure card. It's also a card of respect. So for those of you that have been working on self-confidence, by the time we get into July, August, and September, it feels like that energy is starting to solidify. Hierophant also is, usually we see like two people that are following this, but it's just the energy of leading here that we're seeing right now. Back to this. Are you leading or are you following? If you're waiting for someone else to lead the way, this period of time is saying, actually, it's your chance to just step in and make it happen. And when you do that, other people follow, doors start to open, etc. There may be a couple of arbitrary, like rubber stamp moments where you have to get an approval, you have to get an okay, you have to get a nod that yes, this is the right path. And so there could be gatekeepers in this period of time. It's a great time, because the card is upright, to get that approval underway. And finally, Q4, October, November, and December, we have Four of Cups, hidden blessings. So the fourth cup is sitting there in the background. In the traditional card, it's floating like an ace. And what this is saying is things in this part of the year may not go exactly as planned or expected, but there might be a silver lining. Sometimes we box ourselves in and think, I only want this, or I only want that person, or it has to happen in this way, shape, or form. And the universe is saying, yeah, but I got something better here. But you have to be willing and able to look. So the challenge in the final part of this upcoming year is being willing to entertain other possibilities. This is the time to lean into researching, to talk to friends, to get some advice, to take a step back, and to get the perspective that's there. And that floating ace could be better than you thought. It's just a matter of imagining it and releasing the preconceived notions. So overall, all of the cards look pretty good. Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Hierophant energy, and then the Four of Cups. So I like the overall year. It's starting off with this recalibrating energy, getting really strong at the midpoint, and then again, just a perspective shift as everything sort of like finalizes. All right. Now it's your chance to ask one final question. It can be anything that you need. Go ahead and put that question out to the universe. Let me give the cards a shuffle and we'll see what the answer is. You received Five of Pentacles in reverse. This is a pretty clear card. If you asked a yes or no, it's a no. The reason, as we look at the traditional card here, is because it's not enough. In tarot, this is like, it's not even quite break even, because you can see here people wanting and needing more. There really is opportunity for better balance, more sustenance, or more satisfaction, and something here isn't where you need it to be. So if you're looking at a person, they have healing to do. You have some healing to do too. If you're looking at a job opportunity, it takes more than it gives. If you're looking at a health situation, you might want to get a second opinion. There's something here where you don't have the full picture, you're not getting enough resources, or it's just not the right time. And if it is money or sort of like, abundance coming in, stand up for yourself. There's definitely room for more, invariably with this card. Like, at least we need to get it up at least 10%. And if there's someone in your life that won't give you what you need, that's all that you need to know insofar as like that's the wrong connection. So not quite. Aim higher, reach further, heal the inner child, and you're worth even more than whatever it is that you're looking at, okay? It's a wide net when we're doing a general, but that's a very clear card, and you're going to be okay. You're going to get more than you think in the long run, but this isn't it. It's not the time right now, okay? That, my friends, is everything. Please do me a favor. Let's hit the subscribe button if you enjoy this, because it allows you to comment. It helps this video find other people, and it means a lot to me, so thank you. It's 100% free to do that. If you'd like to follow me on social media, there's a link in the description here so that you can go to all of my social media platforms, but you can also just go to my website. It's nicholasashbaugh.com, and my username is always Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms. You can show support here optionally also through leaving a sticker or becoming a member, and it's a great way also to help me continue to do what I do here, because it's a lot of videos. Ad revenue doesn't always cut it, and I really do need the support of people like you to continue, so thank you in advance. And that, my friends, is everything. Before I sign off today, I want to give Apollo one more little pat on the head. He looks adorable behind us. Hey, buddy. Who's a good boy? Been so patient. Yes, you have. All right. That's everything for today. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Again, have a very happy and healthy new year. Take care.